Today we'll be talking about what design is, why it's why the basics of designs matter in your different fields, the four core principles of designs and how to apply them. Design fundamentals for non-designers. Simple rules to make your visual clearer and more effective. What is design? When people hear about design, they often think about colors or decorations, but design is not decorations. Design is really about communication. It's about how information is organized, communicated, and understood. A good design helps people understand information faster, while bad designs often make information confusing to the reader than the users. A good design helps people understand your message faster and with less effort. With design principles provides a foundation for creating effective visuals by guiding the arrangement and composition of elements. When most times when if you work in if you're a developer or you work in the project management team, you have to imbibe some of these principles into your work. Like for example, if you're creating a web page, you don't want everything to be scattered. You want to pass the information your page is passing very well. So there has to be hierarchy, there has to be good contrast, there has to be well arrangement of the elements for your page. Then move on to why design basics matter. Most of us create slides and reports or post our work. If your design is poor, it tends to be confusing and people tend to struggle to understand what content you're trying to put out. Learning some of these basics helps your work look clearer, more professional, and easier to read. Poor design causes confusion most of the times and doesn't communicate visually the information you're trying to pass. With these basics, we can help anyone produce clearer and more user-friendly visuals. The four core design principles we'll talk about today are contrast, consistency, simplicity, and space, which is either proximity or white space. With these simple and practical principles, if you master them and put them all together, you'll definitely be creating better designs. Contrast. Contrast simply means making things clearer, making things making things clearly different. Contrast in graphic design emphasizes difference in to create visual interest and hierarchy amongst elements. Contrast usually helps the users guide their eyes from what matters most to what matters least. How does contrast work? You can create contrast using size, color, or weight. For example, heading should be more bigger than body text, not just slightly bigger. They have to be more bigger and distinct from your body text to create a good contrast and hierarchy of what your content is. There has to be a clear header and there has to be clear definition of what your body text is. Some common mistakes people make with contrast is they often use colors or font size that are too similar. If you have to squint your eyes or slow down to read something, that means the contrast isn't good enough. The contrast ratio is definitely off and you would need to readjust it so that your content is easily visible and won't need any form of won't need any form of extra effort to read. To make to make a good contrast, you have to make sure the text are not similar to the background, the headings are not the same side as the body text, and you do not imbibe too many colors in your content. Move on to consistency. Consistency usually means using the same font, same color, same action, same layout, just basically using the same elements throughout your content. Why should you be consistent? First of all, by keeping things simple, you allow people to focus on their attention on important aspects of your design rather than being distracted by things changing all the times. Secondly, consistency increases trust and makes things look easier, make things look actually designed rather than just a rather just quickly thrown together. Consistency tends to build trust and makes your work feel organized. Consistency in practice, that's basically using the same font throughout your style, throughout your content, using the same colors or similar colors to each other to not throw off what your content is trying to portray, and using the same patterns. Now I move on to simplicity. Keeping design simple and clean is very important. There's a there's a principle called Occam's razor that says the simplest solution is usually the best solution. If something doesn't add meaning, it's probably unnecessary. So just keep things simple to avoid unnecessary complexity that may distract the main message or purpose. Practicalizing simplicity. You have to reduce the visual noises. You don't need to add extra lines, extra images, extra strokes to your design. Just make your designs simple, limit the font and the color. Don't need to add unnecessary icons. Just focus on the main message. And if you have a visual or image representation of the message, just put one or two. Do not make it complex and keep it easy. Simply design are easier to scan, easier to understand, and easier to remember. Then we move on to space and proximity. First, we'll talk about space. Space is the empty area around elements. It is not just wasted space, it is often the content that breeds and improves your readability. The way things are positioned usually sends a meta level message about their meaning. Why is this important? Because minding how you position things and how much space you add around them helps reduce the complexity of a design and therefore makes it both more pleasing to look at and easier to interact with. I know most of us say there should be some developers in the room, so they should know about positive and negative space, mostly called white space. When you're coding, you tend to have white spaces in your code to differentiate some lines of code. So it's basically kind of the same um principle here. Space in design is the fundamental strategic use of area around, between, and within elements to create visual hierarchy, balance, and improve readability. It can be characterized into two, negative and positive space. Positive space is the active field or occupied areas containing the main subject, text, or image, while negative space is the empty or open area around elements that provides breathing room and structure. Proximity. Proximity in design. When you place an item close together, they are seen as related. If they are too far, they can be regarded as unrelated. Proximity is the art of grouping contents properly to make sure the information is easier to understand at one simple glance. Proximity is one of is in design is a fundamental Gestalt principle that dictates placing related elements close to each other to form cohesive, organized group and separating unrelated items to reduce clutter and establish a visual hierarchy. Elements placed together are usually seen as related. Why is proximity in design important? Your brain tends to make thousands of decisions every day, and many of them aren't obvious. So proximity is one of those important design principles that makes it relies on your brain's capacity for this type of quick decision making. Proximity makes the relationship between elements and the viewers very easy. By grouping things together, the audience can just at one glance make proper assimilation of the contents or the information you're trying to pass. Now we move on to applying all the principles together. A good design usually applies all principles together: strong contrast, consistency, styles, simple layouts, and intentional spacing. All of them come together and work as a team. A good design usually has contrast to its high importance. You are going to be consistent with your font, with your colors, and with any other element you have in your design, and you should always be intentional with your space. Do not do not make waste of your space. Coming to the end of this presentation, I hope next time you design anything, you ask yourself, is it clear? Is it consistent? Is it simple? And is it well spaced? If yes, you're already better than what you were. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yes, me, I have a question. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Good morning. I can hear you.
My name is Grace. I have a question. Actually, this is my first time of joining this meeting. Like, since I was onboarded, I have not joined this meeting. So this is my first day of joining, and I would love to know what is expected of me, like how to do team stand ups and all that. I would like to know more about it.
Sure. Okay.
Hi,
Your
Grace.
team stand-up depends on your
Hi, Grace.
team.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so this is KD knowledge development. You're expected to join from from Tuesday to
Tuesday.
Friday. So because of our
Okay.
time, we have another presenter waiting. You might want to ask your question at the end of the presentation. All right, since it's not related to what Mohammed out. So would you might want to ask your question at the end of all the presentation. Do you get that?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, does anybody has a question for Gbadejoko? From everything he has said, do you have a question? Okay, in the absence of no question, Mohammed, you might want to ask one or two questions before we proceed to the next presenter.
All right. So I have a question for anybody. In your previous slides or presentation, have you ever struggled to read a document even though the information was correct? Anybody?
Please call on anyone on the call because of our time.
Yeah. I need to.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Maybe good morning, rather.
Sorry, good morning.
I'm flying so. Okay, so I wanted to just answer question number one in regards to struggling to read a slide or a document. Okay, it's not a slide or a document, it was like a flyer, a promotional flyer. So I think this is related to because of the contrast, like the fonts, the background, all of those were of similar colors, although different
Yeah.
variations of the same color. So it was difficult to read and my mind couldn't pick what to focus on, what was the information actually telling me, any other additional details. So yeah, that's just
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I think I've also experienced something like that in one of the KDs. Someone used a blue background and used blue color for the text. So next time when we want to present, please let's be intentional. Let's be conscious of our background and our text colors. So make sure the contrast isn't contracting. All right. We move on to the next presenter. I shall ask my second question. Olabisi.
Hi.
Should I ask the second question or is my
Yes,
time up?
please. You have to
Okay.
second question and pick someone on the call before we proceed to the next presenter, please.
Okay. If you could fix just one thing in your current designs, whether it be contrast, consistency, simplicity, or spacing, which would it be and how would you apply it to your design? Let me see.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Yeah.
Israel.
So if I could fix one thing in my current design, it should be simplicity. Because most of my designs, I often use complex shape, format, and complex this thing, complex text write up on top of each shape I use. So if I could fix one thing, it should be simplicity.
Thank you, Israel. Make sure next time you're
Hi.
designing. Sorry, is someone
Hi.
going?
Yeah, I am Yogeshmita. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I just wanted to answer the second question. Should I go ahead?
Yeah, Karen.
So basically, for me, I think I would like to fix the spacing because whenever you're going through slides and you're transitioning from one topic to another, the spacing really matters. The bifurcation of, say, heading to body to conclusion. So if the spacing is not correct, then that does create a lot of illusion or confusion between transition from one topic to another. So I think for me, it would be spacing.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mohammed.
Let's
Thank
not
you
share
very
my
much,
screen.
Mohammed. Yeah, you can